What's going on, everyone? DJ Williams here with the man himself, Grant Cook, ready for your segment of Let Grant Cook. Where he breaks down the offensive line play. Game one under the belt for the Razorbacks, and still the biggest questions for this team. One, what's Taylor Green look like in year two of Bobby Petrino, and what's the offensive line going to look like? Was there enough playing against let's just call it for what it is, a lesser opponent? Was there enough that you saw on tape to maybe give a good idea of what we can expect for the rest of the year, or is it still too early for that?
It's maybe still a little bit too early. Obviously, Alabama A&M had a few guys. We talked about it in the pregame show, but we're still learning a little bit, and it's going to show up when we see this, whether it's technique that we're learning, assignment. I would say we played pretty good assignment sound football going back after looking at the tape. We've got a few things technique-wise that we need to clean up, it's – I don't want to say effort, but maybe we got to get a little bit more attitude when we're playing. And, we'll highlight a few clips where it looks like we get kind of pushed around a little bit. And, this is the prime one. First quarter, we went down, scored. They went back, answered really quickly. And I know I'm interested to hear what Matt has to say about that drive from the defense.
Oh, he's going to be pissed.
Yeah. But, hey, everybody knows, too, that they scripted those 10 plays, DJ.
Oh, yeah.
And they
practiced them maybe
for about
3-4 weeks.
Oh, yeah. So everybody out there in Razorback land, take it easy. They scored 7, and I think they're almost the rest of the whole game. They had like 38 total yards of offense. So,
yeah,
it's all right. It's all right. But we're here to talk about offensive line, and I will talk about this first play that we have on the screen. So, this is what I'm talking about with attitude, man. It just feels like we're getting pushed around a little bit here. And we got the center highlighted. So this team, I know everybody was talking about it. I was listening to some of the stuff on some of the other folks that have podcasts and what the fans were saying and so on and so forth, that we got pushed around a little bit in the run game. We didn't run the ball quite like everybody thought we should. We talked about it. We knew Alabama A&M was not just going to stand there in front of us and let us block them.
No.
They did a lot of run blitzing, and you'll see one right here, and it was successful. The scheme got us out of trouble here, but you can see that black line on the screen is the line of scrimmage. Our center is 3 yards off the ball here, and he's catching a little bit. Right here. Now, Mike Washington, once again, around the edge. So really the clutter in the middle doesn't bother him. Almost breaks this one if he doesn't get shoestringed right there.
Yeah.
This guy maybe is advertised. I know it's Alabama A&M, but he runs hard, dude.
He does run hard.
So hard.
He's very impressive. And it seems like already, Grant, a pretty intellectual player as well. We'll show some clips here in a second in pass protection. That's pretty impressive. We got to show him some big time praise. But here's an end zone angle of what you talked about. They're just mixing it up, bringing everything, shooting bullets to the gaps.
Yeah. So it's a run blitz, right? And a lot of teams don't do that, but these smaller schools know they can't just stand there and expect to be successful. So if you look right, well, we'll talk about a Marion in one second, but you can see 52 tries to shoot this gap and go make a play in the backfield, and he creates a lot of confusion. The play is just designed to go outside, so it really wasn't that great of a play by the defense. But go ahead and play it on forward. I want to talk about Marion Harris.
Yep.
And he's going to pull here. DJ's got the arrow coming around the side. Go. He's got his eyes. He sees him. He's got his eyes right on him. You can see the graphic. 13's my guy. It was identified before the ball was snapped. I got to get around the horn and go get this guy. But when you get around there, man, run. Go. That linebacker is going to flow to where the ball is, but that running back needs to know that you're not just sitting in the hole creating more, less space. Give that guy some opportunity. So right here, you play it on forward. You'll see him.
Well, you say that. I want to talk about my dogs too now. My tight ends. We don't just catch passes, Grant. We're in the blocking scheme too. Here's Platt right here. And a lot like E. Harris right here, they're doing the same thing. I'm with you. Go. I
Yeah.
mean, you're going to see him kind of, try to collect himself, get his feet together. You have to understand, you let the running back make you right,
Yep.
He just needs to know when you're on your path, let's just say right here. I mean, line him up. He's sitting right there in front of you. Just go full speed and let the running back use you and make that guy miss. But watch, see how he
100%.
patterns his feet, he gathers himself, and then he allows this guy to come inside right here. But once again, Mike Washington, pretty special.
Yeah. Yeah. He's going to, I'm interested to watch him the rest of the year.
Yeah,
He
me
is,
too.
he's a special talent. All right.
What? All right. Big questions. Tackles. We move Carmona inside. Grant. We got this guy from Georgia Tech in Corey Robinson. Thoughts on his performance, and we'll take a look at a few of these plays.
Yeah, so I think overall Corey was really just as advertised, right? You didn't hear his name, you didn't hear anything from the defense about him. Like he just did his job, which sadly, as an offensive lineman, when you do your job, you get no praise. So
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I think he is the guy that we brought in. He did the job we needed him to do. And we'll show it right here. I mean, really, really good kick slide.
Woo, nice.
Great job there. Made contact and then just locks this guy down. You can see Talon, no pressure right there. He's just standing tall in the pocket, and he is not worried about what's going on behind him. So really impressed with Corey's first game. Obviously, the tests are just going to keep getting harder. The talent's going to keep getting better, but really great job by him all game, but specifically on this play.
I'm gonna go back just a little bit, and yes, we're playing against Alabama A&M. But one thing you want to see in week one is what's your technique look like? I think some guys they look great in practice. You put them in week one game scenario, and their technique just gets thrown out the window.
Yeah.
So when you see these kick slides, look right here. That's experience. That's a guy who's done it before, staying to his technique. And when you have this type of pocket, like you talked about, and Taylon Green can stay in there and then scan the whole field. We talked about Taylon Green when he is confident with his protection. I'll put him up there with anybody. I mean, he's one of the better performers in college football when he's protected and he's actually confident. Now, when the confidence goes down and he's kind of dropping back and he's doing one of these, it's difficult for anybody to be a quarterback in that situation. So this is promising to see. But us, we like to highlight some good, but we also got to talk about a few things. This is what we do here in 4th and 5. Next play with Corey Robinson, the transfer left tackle coming in from Georgia Tech. What do we got on this one right here, Grant?
Yeah, so I'm going to give him a little bit of a pass, but I don't love the effort after what happens, right? Okay. So this is outside zone. So what we wanted to do, and I had to go back and look at a couple of different players to see if I could figure out exactly what we were trying to accomplish just based off of the track from the running back. So the track starts pretty much downhill. So I thought, it's an inside zone. His landmark was way too far out there. But I look back, the right guard is going straight up for that linebacker, giving no chip help on a 3 technique. So I thought, okay, maybe it was designed to start downhill and bend to the outside. So I can see why Corey maybe took the landmark that he took, which is that far outside shoulder. Defensive linemen are taught, if that guy's trying to capture your outside shoulder, fight that pressure and string it out toward the sideline. Well, this guy just kind of stays where he's at and ducks underneath it. What I want to see right there, you can see, clear lane. So if I'm Corey or if I'm Coach Mateos or I'm involved in this, hey, get on that guy's shoulder and start pushing it, right? Let's try to get him collapse that side down or just run him by and let the running back do what they do, right? Make a cut, make a move. And he doesn't really do either, right? Or I was going to say either, or work up. Hey, if you've already done that, go find another color jersey to hit. Maybe work up to this linebacker that's up there on the right off the hash. Because Braylon does a really nice job of not getting a TFL here and turning really something or nothing into something. But don't just stand there, right? Don't just turn around and look and olay this thing.
Yep.
All right, next play. I just want to highlight the interior offensive line. So this is, at times, it can be a tough stunt to pick up. Really, if the defensive line does a good job of pinning the hip of who they're trying to go. So this bottom side defensive tackle is going to go first. The top side is going to loop around. and they do a really good job of passing this thing off. I mean, like I said, if that hip gets pinned, then that guy looping around is going to have a free shot at Talon here. Carmona and Kittler pass it off really, really, really nicely. But we have to finish, right? So I'll give you the props when you have the props, but I'm going to talk to you when you don't, right?
Yeah.
Pass it off really nicely, but Carmona gets his shoulders turned here. The goal for an offensive lineman in pass pro is for that quarterback to be able to read my name on my back at all times.
I'm helping you out.
If he's looking at me in the face, we got problems.
Yeah, that's not. If you make eye contact with your quarterback before the whistle blows, not a good sign.
Yeah, if I'm looking at him, if I saw him throw it, we're not in good shape.
Oh man!
But and I will say this, Talon did kind of float here a little bit, and maybe he just started to feel some of that pressure from the outside, which I mean, we have as offensive linemen, you have a spot in your mind where that quarterback is, kind of eyes in the back of your head. And if he floats away from that, you're not really understanding where that new launch point is or that new set point is. So that's maybe why, Carmona got a little bit turned, but you still got to work those feet back around and get squared up.
All right, let's go ahead and move on to this next play. This is a 3rd and 9, so an obvious passing down. Okay, so in a situation where they're going to bring pressure, it's about picking up pressure. That's something we struggled with quite a bit, I would say, last year, is pre-snap recognition. And I would say for the most part, compared to this time last year, I would say night and day. Very impressed with that aspect. But let's go and take a closer look. Once again, we're going to take a look at, who is this? Corey Robinson, left tackle.
Corey.
Yep.
Yeah. So Corey does a really nice job here in his initial kick set, and then bam, coming back inside and recovering when that guy makes his move. So you can see they bring 7. We got 6 in protection. We got the 5 offensive linemen, and we got the running back. And so someone is going to come free. And Talon, that's kind of what we talked about again in the pregame show. Talon's got to start understanding, if I have enough to pick up who they're going to bring, what are they telling me before I snap this ball, before I say hut, before I say go, before I clap my hands, whatever the snap count is. And so I'm super impressed. And it's what we were talking about just a little bit earlier with Mike Washington. It's your 5th-year guy, a guy that's been around the block, played some games, got a little FBI to him. He takes the most dangerous man. We cannot physically block all of them on this. They add the guy that was spying Talon. So they were spying Talon pretty much all game, trying to take that run away. And when that person reads pass, they're taught just add to the rush. Just delay it and add to the rush. So they brought that 7th man. So watch Mike Washington here, bam, take the most dangerous man. And now we have an opportunity to get the ball out.
That's beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah.
It's perfect. I mean, he really did a perfect job. That's a sack. If he doesn't do that, if he goes for number 16 out here, this DB or outside linebacker, that if he goes for that guy there that's highlighted and doesn't block who he blocks, that's a sack. Talon, right this second, in this same frame, is getting hit right in the back.
And, we at 4th and 5, we are the eye in the sky, and we will show you what happens when you pick the wrong person here in just a few plays. Okay.
We sure will.
And I'll say this too, FBI, for people who don't know, football intelligence. And this is really cool with Michael Washington, because in my breakdown, I pointed out a lot of situations where some of these new guys, they're kind of just looking around thinking, they're kind of still processing. That's my biggest concern, throughout the year, of how quickly can they pick this up. So for us to hear about how impressive he is running the ball, and then you get this too, that's a back that can stay on the field every single down. That's special.
No doubt. And pick it up and not let the pocket start collapsing. It's one thing to pick up the blitz, choose the right guy, but now you've got to block him.
Yep.
And right here, plenty of room for Talon to get the ball out.
Boom. It's nice. That was awesome. Big time play.
So we went from a 3rd and 9. I just want to point out, that's 3rd and 9. We have to have a first down. We're backed up. We picked the wrong person, sack, 4th down, 4th and 17, 16, whatever it may be, punting the ball away to first down, keep the drive alive. Let's go.
Yeah. And we'll show you what it looks like later. All right, here we go. Another just example, Grant. We don't really have to talk through this one much, and just happy to see that they're bringing five. Tight end stays on a block. We could do a little bit better with his technique. He has his feet a little bit too close together. You got Platt up here, but he's big, athletic. He can recover from it. But yeah, just nice, clean pocket. Very cool for Talon to have that for most of the day. But then we get to this play, all right? And so we talked about pass pro, and I'll stay on this one. It's not just the offensive lineman, but, we have our big skill position. That's what we call ourselves. You have skill position, the receivers, then you have the big fellas, and then you have big skill, all right? And that's like your hybrids, your tight ends, and your running backs. And it's just important for us to be available in the pass pro. Rodney Hill does a great job recognizing this guy coming. But you can't sit here. You see how he kind of slows down? You can't wait on these guys, okay? You can't just, especially Rodney Hill, who's a little bit smaller. If he just stands there just like this in this stance and he lets this guy get a full head of steam, it's not going to do well. Even big backs have a trouble with that. So he needs to meet him almost where he is right now and not just catch him. And this is where he just kind of drove back to Talon. Now, luckily, Talon was moving away from that, but that's just another situation when it comes to protection. It's not just on the offensive line. But you saw that graphic. Here we go. I would say the biggest talker of one of the portals we got in way back when is when Big Shaq transferred from Oregon, and 6'8", 365 pounds. When I did my breakdown on him when he came over here, all I could find was high school tape. And I tell this all the time. And we had this conversation because we wanted to break down his film. We could not find one pass pro from his highlights in high school. Not one. And I searched, all right? Google's not too bad of a tool for searching up things, okay? However, we did find some pass pro when he was at the All-American game playing against some dudes. And the thing that we kind of pointed out is it's not like he can't keep up from that tape that we saw. He just has a mobility issue. You talked about it, Grant, and people really don't put this into perspective, and they kind of sometimes overlook it. Offensive linemen are extremely athletic, and that's a lot of body to be moving at very high speeds. People don't realize it, but it takes an athlete to move at that type of competition, and mobility is huge for an offensive lineman.
Well, especially at 6'8". It's a game of leverage, and at 6'8", you're already at a disadvantage from being so tall. But if you can't bend, then you're putting yourself at a further disadvantage. You can't play where you need to down low, and so that was one of the concerns that I had with Shaq. We watched a little bit of his film from high school. I think to your point, we had some of the one-on-ones that we popped up this past spring, and some of the coverage around the portal guys that we got. And I wanted to see this. I wanted to see what has he done over the spring, what has he done over the summer to put himself in a better physical condition to go play in this fall. And has he done it or has he not? And so here's a clip right here. 6'8", he's pretty straight up and down, just to be honest. That's not a position that I would want to be in if someone was running at me and they were trying to push me in my chest to knock me over. And there's an age-old, technique that offensive line coaches will use if they catch you in this position, which is, stand straight leg and put your feet together and let me push you. And obviously you fall over. Now bend at your waist, bend at your knees, and spread your feet apart, and they come up and try to push you, and you don't go anywhere, right? Mm-hmm. Straight leg is not the way you want to play offensive line. And so I want to see him continue to work on bending, strengthen his hips, strengthen his knees, and bend, get down and play in an athletic position. I think about, too, because I played basketball in high school. If I'm playing defense and I'm trying to stay in front of someone that is dribbling the ball, I'm not gonna be straight leg, right?
No.
You're bending down, slapping the floor, hands out, ready to go. And so you can think about offensive line no different than playing defense on somebody in the perimeter in basketball. I mean, that's what we're doing, except everybody up there is 300 plus pounds. So, you know, I don't love this position. You know, I will say that it was a successful block. He stayed on the inside half of the man, ran him by. We got the ball out. Everything's good.
This is what we want to get him ready for. Because, like I said, experience, like Corey Robinson, do what you do in practice. It transfers over to the game. Yes. This could be a situation because we've heard good things about him in practice where he's getting it figured out in practice, but now it's game time. Sometimes younger guys who haven't had a lot of experience, they get away from everything that they've been taught. And it takes moments like this to be like, I worked on that all spring, all fall. You know, why? You know, it just happens. Because I'll tell you right now, a premier defensive end in the SEC, if he sees this, he is licking his chops of like, ooh, I'm gonna go. I want that guy. All right.
Hey, I would argue it doesn't even have to be premier. I mean,
not with this technique.
Yeah, not with this technique. And here's the thing: you can't coach 6'8", 340 or whatever he's down to now, 330. And he's athletic. He can move. He can move, being that big. So if he can just hone in that craft, he's got a chance to be really, 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 really good.
Yep.
So, but like I said, you see here, I mean, he runs him by. Obviously, I think Braylon had a little breakdown there. But there we go. So straight legs, feet together. Once again, just kind of showing that's not the position we want to be in. Really would like to see Braylon attack that a little bit more too. So here we go. We got a run play action here. And so you're really trying to sell the run. I'll give him a little bit of a pass on maybe the coming off the ball and really selling the run because we've got a linebacker here, or a defensive back here that's blitzing. So it's a cowboy blitz, corner blitz. Mm-hmm. You can tell by the safety.
I see you, Grant. I see you with the terminology.
So safety's off the hash, right? This guy's pressed up on the line, but he's looking at Talon. If I'm playing, I've never played corner, surprisingly to everybody that's listening. I know that's a big surprise, actually. But I would be probably looking at the wide receiver if that's who I'm trying to guard. But why is he looking at the quarterback? Again, safety off the hash, kind of some telltale signs that you would look for to say, like, something's up. And so they identify it. Hey, great job. Again, FBI, like we just talked about with Mike Wash. But we identify it. Now we've got to have the technique to get out there. So assignment is good. Now let's get out there and make sure we get a piece of this guy, because if Talon has a two-way go here, whether he wants to run it or if he wants to throw this little bubble screen that we've got shaping up down here at the bottom of the screen, he's got to stay clean to do it.
Yeah. And on this one, Grant, once again, great that it looks like he's anticipating it. But if you were, I can't put a graphic on it right here because I got it magnified. But his right leg, if you take a close look, that's where it started at the beginning of this play. No step with his front side foot. Zero step. And so what that does is it puts you off balance. You're not in a good position. And so this DB that is coming, look, and I'll say this, like, I'm going to go ahead and play it. All right. And he falls down and you're just like, whoa, okay. That is so preventable, just with a small technique on your first step. It's so wild, Grant. I mean, how many times, hours have we spent in practice just going over our first 6-inch step? That's it. That's all we would do. And, you know, it's so annoying to us. But then when you get in situations like this, you're like, wow, you know, I didn't realize it would make that big of a difference. And so,
and you don't even think about it.
No,
right. That's the thing is, you know, the craziest piece of this whole deal is like we used to have those planks, right? That were like maybe 2 yards, 3 yards long, like 6 inches wide. You had to get in your stance and your foot was on the, you know, your outside foot was on the inside part of the plank and you had to step around that and your foot had to end up on the other side of the plank. And what the coaches tried to do there is create muscle memory. Like your body can't not step that way. You can't just pick it up or turn your foot. Your body just automatically, as soon as the ball snapped, bam, my foot's over there. It becomes a part of how you, like, I was almost walking like 6 inches at a time.
Yeah.
College because I didn't know how to do anything else. But Yeah, you're exactly right, DJ. I mean, you take a first step there, and now your left foot's not crossing over, and that guy's faster than him. Can y'all
Yeah.
believe that? He's going to be faster. And
Yeah.
so you've got to give yourself an opportunity to get out there, and it starts with your first step.
What are the odds for the Little Rock game that I go find one of these boards? I know a couple high school coaches, and for a segment during our pregame show, we can go through some of this stuff. We'll re-show these clips.
We'll have our own individual drill.
Oh man! All right, let's keep it rolling. Luckily, Talon saw that he preferred to go ahead and throw this out. He had an option to get it out. Luckily, he did that. Did we? Oh, almost got the first. Another one right here, and the mobility is kind of showing up again. Now he's had a few snaps, but I would say first quarter didn't start. This may be his first or second drive. We shouldn't be winded by now, right?
You wouldn't think so, right? But this stance is telling me my legs are tired. Right? I mean, it's hard for me to get down. My legs are tired. I'm a little out of shape. Yeah. And now, granted, I mean, playing in games, you got the adrenaline, there's a lot of things going on. I mean, I remember after about 2 or 3 plays, I'm out there like, whoo.
Yeah, I get it.
We practiced hard. I mean, we didn't even do conditioning when Coach Petrino, when we were playing for Coach Petrino, because we practiced so hard and everything was transitioned so quickly that our practice was conditioning.
Yeah.
And by the time you got to the game, it was easy. But sometimes the games, especially as these first few, you're like, woof, I ran 2 plays. I can't breathe. But you shouldn't be there, right? I mean, you got to get into a stance. You got to give yourself some bend. You got to give yourself a starting point of success and then build off of it. And he's pretty straight up and down right here. He's bending at the waist, trying to make up for it. And again, first thing, pop straight up. But I do want to talk about one thing. We're here to talk about Shaq. I don't want to do this, but my man Caden Kittler's catching a little bit right here.
Yeah.
And so he got 52 right here.
He's having a pad level thing too. I mean, I feel like I shouldn't be able to see his numbers as clear as I do right now.
Right. Yes. Yeah. And he's trying to turn and run and go capture this block. And so I understand why he's turned that way. He's trying to go capture this block from E. Harris, but he gets caught again straight up and down. And if a guy gets his hands on you in the wrong position, there's nowhere to go but backwards. And I don't care if it's Alabama A&M or Alabama or Georgia or whoever, but we're catching ourselves 2-3 yards off the ball again right here. And so what this does, we're trying to catch the outside. We're trying to run this into the boundary outside zone, but Shaq doesn't get the outside shoulder. So now he's blocking his man out. And now Cade, he is getting pushed into the backfield. So Mike Washington's trying to figure out, where do I go?
Look at his vision right now. I mean, he's like,
I just got the ball and I'm a yard and a half away from offensive line, right? And so so where, if you're the running back, put yourself in that position, where am I going to go? Am I going to try to cut this thing back? Well, now there's a lot of white jerseys.
Yeah, he tried to, but look.
Yeah. So now we got to bounce it, right? And so this is where, so he's running backwards already 4 yards off the line of scrimmage, and he's going to have to backtrack even further. But again, I think he's as advertised because we turned this thing into something.
Watch this. How the heck? I mean, that should have been a tackle for a loss.
100%.
Turned it into a 6-yard gain. That's special.
It is.
All right, let's go look at this 2nd and 9. Taking a look at Shaq, he's going to be at the top right here. We talked about this play, right? So you mentioned based off what E. Harris is doing, probably lets you know what Shaq has going on. I'll go ahead and run it back real quick to the beginning. Here's the end of that Mike Washington play. But go ahead and take a look at this play. See it snap, and then boom. What's that tell you?
So E. Harris, we've got his we've got the graphic up right there. So this tells me it's a slide protection. And so when I say slide protection, we'll review that a little bit. Center guard tackle on one side of the ball. This side ends up the right side of the ball. The right side of the offensive line is responsible for gaps. So the center is responsible for the gap that is between him and the guard. The guard is responsible for the gap that's between he and the tackle. and the tackle is responsible for anything outside of him. So between him and the tight end in this case.
Nice.
So you can see E. Harris's eyes. He's got his hand on this defensive tackle helping the center out, and he's thinking, if this guy even thinks about coming inside, I'm taking it over. And so Shaq should know, hey, if this guy goes inside, I got to trust E. Harris is taking this thing over, and he's got to keep that outside hand free. Man, I'm over here like blocking it. You can't even see it.
I see it.
I'm like, I got a handful of jersey over here, not holding. I'm on the inside. It's all good.
I got you here. Let's go ahead and see it.
There we go. There we go. Yep. Boom, boom. But he's got to have that hand in here helping that thing out, and then bang, he pushes that thing off, and I have to keep my eyes in my gap. I got to feel that play and then slide out. Okay, so look, this linebacker's now looping over the top, but if I've got both hands on the inside, my shoulders are staying like this. If this guy's looping around, I can't get off. And here's what really good defensive tackles and defensive ends do. When you get into SEC play or you start playing Notre Dame, they're going to keep that freaking shoulder locked in, and they're going to let that guy have a free run at it. They're no different than offensive linemen. They complain all the time about how we hold, but they will hold you till no end to let those linebackers run free. And I've been there and I've done it. But he's late, right? He's late. And this is going to be another hit on the quarterback because of us, because we didn't do our assignment up front. But DJ, Mike Wash did it perfect earlier, right?
So earlier I told you we're the eye in the sky here at 4th and 5. Okay, we showed you a play, same blitz from earlier. So we
same exact blitz.
Mike Washington was in earlier, and we praised him for, in a situation like this, you have to make a choice. And experience, it's called MDM. That's what the term or the acronym is, and we say most dangerous man. So how fast can you process who has the shortest path to the quarterback? Most of the time you shouldn't process that much because it typically is the guy that is closer into the quarterback, like the guy that's closest to the end of the line of scrimmage. So Braylon should process this and pick up the guy inside. We saw Mike Washington do it in the exact same situation, but he's just way too locked in on this outside guy. He picks him up, and look at this shot. I mean, we talked about how important it is for Talon to stay in this pocket. You know why he's staying in the pocket right now and not seeming phased at all? Is because they brought this blitz before and it was picked up. And he was thinking, we've seen it already. We should be good to go. I understand if they bring too much, it's going to be the guy on the outside. But if we get it picked up, I can get this ball out. We already saw it, right? If that didn't get picked up earlier, he may start doing one of these, just and getting in. You don't want that. And so that's a situation where you would love for Braylon to pick that guy up. But once again, that is learning tape. But it's fascinating to me how, and I'll say this, it goes fast. It is week 1. You, me, anyone who has played football, you could find multiple clips of us making the wrong decision. It happens, all right? But what happened? We would go to film the next day, and the way we talk about it is like softball pillow fight, snuggly wuggly conversation compared to what we got in those meeting rooms that made us remember next time we are presented this look, don't mess up. And I'm saying that as PG version as I can, okay?
Until that door rips open and Bobby P ran in there. Like, if he came in the meeting, if it was a bad enough thing, I just remember watching film, the door rip open and somebody, like, everybody's like, and he comes in and it's like, uh-oh. Yeah. I only had about 1 or 2 of those in my career.
Yeah.
And I just got hit with do what you're coached to do.
I've had a few, a good handful. I don't know. He had it out for me. And I thought I was decent, but I will say, I always want to
you didn't win the Mackey Award as the best tight end in the country. So, you were okay.
I always want to remind people, it's just like, we've been in these situations, man, and we know it's tough, but we know these conversations are necessary. And this is what they're seeing in the meeting rooms. And, when we started 4th and 5, we wanted to be able to bring this element to the fan and we always say this as players, be careful what you put on tape. It's up to
Yep.
you, because as soon as it's on tape, anybody can watch it, and so you would like to see Braylon Russell, who's been in this system before, kind of pick that up. But like I said, it just goes to show too, one, how impressive it is that Mike Washington in that situation earlier in his first year in this offense just instinctively picked that up. Now, I'll also say this too. This is Braylon's sophomore year. Mike Washington's been playing a little bit longer. Okay. So
Yep.
experience, that's where sometimes I'm like, okay, the portal is not as bad as people think sometimes, because you can bring in experience, because
Right.
things like that translate between, it doesn't matter what the offense is. That's just an instinct that's picked up by playing the position for a while. So let's go ahead and move on to the next one. You hate Taylor taking a shot like that when he doesn't have to. All right. And then one more of Shaq up here at top. And we kind of talk about, now you can see he's getting into a situation. It's later in the second quarter where he's trying to do what he's coached to do, right?
Yep.
So go ahead and walk us through this one.
Yeah, so this is going to be a TE stunt. So tackle and end. So what we're going to have here is this defensive end is going to try to come pin the hip of the guard, and this defensive tackle is going to loop around and try to create a little confusion, maybe get a free run at the quarterback. And so does a really nice job here, and almost like robotic a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
but does a nice job with the punch of the defensive end, sending him over to the guard. Oh, I got my hands going again. But sending him over to the guard and then
Oh, is that
flipping
what you
the
want to see?
defensive
Them
tackle.
hands? Let's see it. Come on.
Oh, ooh, bam.
Just like this, gonna be tight. Just
Yeah, keep it tight. Ooh, right there. Yeah, I hurt my shoulder. But anyway,
Yeah.
but does a really nice job. Okay, I don't hate any of that, right? But once again, we have to finish the right way. And so once again, we're bent at the hips
Mm.
and we get swam here. And if Taylor's not letting this ball go, then we're in a position where he's having to step up in the pocket or maybe go run,
Mm-hmm.
whatever it may be, right? So finish this block. We got to finish it. Stay on the inside half of that man. Don't stop your feet. Keep them going, and then run this guy by. I think this ends up being a touchdown, but we talked about it. We talk about it a lot. There's a lot of good things on tape. We saw a lot of really, really good things, a lot of things that are very positive, but there's some things that we really need to work on, and it's technique, it's some assignment stuff. And if we clean that up and we start to make some of those better decisions, then that probably looks more like UAPB did last year, right? And there was a lot of things to learn from that tape. I think
Mm-hmm.
Alabama A&M was a much better opponent
Yeah.
than UAPB was last year. So I'm encouraged. I think that we've got some talent up front on the offensive line, but there's some things that need to be cleaned up. And I think it starts with playing with a little bit more attitude. We did have a little attitude about us last year. And, it's kind of one of those things. And you know how it is. Like when the offensive line rolls up in practice, if there's a fight in practice and all 5 offensive linemen roll up, everybody's like, hey, chill, 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 chill. Like, because we just don't care, man. And, that's just how it is. And so I want to see that. I love that mentality about playing offensive line is like, let's go get after some dudes. Let's play nasty. Let's put people on the ground. Let's push them when we're getting up. Like you got to have that about you and that attitude about you when you're playing this position because it's so physical. So I'll be excited to see next week. Do we come out? Do we show a little bit more physicality, a little bit more attitude, a little bit more finish, and really go ahead and take care of business?
Grant, it's fun. We're getting back in the swing of things, because I'm not gonna lie, it was getting very old talking about the same old stuff. It's like, what should we expect? What should we expect? It's really good now having tape to watch, man. I really enjoy this, and I think our viewers do too as well. So appreciate you. That's your Let Grant Cook first one out of the gate. And like I said, it's just going to get better and better. Opponents are going to get stronger and stronger. I mean, I honestly think I don't know if there's a drop off from the rest of the year. A-State, then you go on the road to Memphis, then you got Ole Miss on the road, then Notre Dame at home. Let's buckle up. I think we're going to learn even more against Arkansas State here in Little Rock at War Memorial. So Grant, I appreciate it, man. Thanks for your time. And but y'all stay tuned. We're going to have a much more in-depth pregame show, revisit a little bit of this, maybe go through some individual drills with the board, tell you what that 6-inch step is all about, but also taking a look at the matchup with these guys from A-State. And like I said, they're not going to be a pushover by any means. They got some
Nope.
dudes up front that should be very competitive, and we're going to get a little bit better look of what Arkansas is working with this year. Grant, I appreciate you, man. Have a good one.
Yep. Thanks, everybody.